Kelly Mitchell, the Wine Siren. I am here with Christophe Paubert. And I got it right, from Stag's Leap Winery. We're in the beautiful Napa Valley, and I've had several of his extraordinary wines, and we're going to talk a little bit about that and how he creates magic out of the magical juice that's coming out of Napa Valley. So welcome, Christophe.
Thank you.
Thank you. And so I tasted several of the wines today, probably 7 or 8. Fantastic, from Cabernet to, oh my goodness, Cabernet, Chardonnay, Petit Syrah,
Merlot.
Okay, let's talk about the Merlot for a moment, because Napa Valley is not known for Merlots traditionally, and you're changing the game quite a bit there. So tell me a little bit about your philosophy with the terroir and the grapes, and particularly Merlot. I'm very curious.
Merlot is a great variety, and I think it got a bad rap for a few years. That was not really deserved to the variety itself. But it's very important for Merlot to be planted in the right area and be picked at the right time. Meaning by that Merlot likes cooler climate. So 100% of the Merlot I make come from south of Yonville, which is south of the valley. And also, lots of people in the valley like to overripe a bit too much, in my opinion, and Merlot doesn't react very well to that. So going cool climate and picking it a bit earlier makes what I call a more serious Merlot, that is really revealing the real potential of the variety, which is really good and can be very powerful, intense, more feminine, because tannins are a bit softer, but softer doesn't mean weaker. And again, I try to make a serious Merlot being representative of what the potential of the variety is.
I was taken back a little bit because when I tried your Merlot, I found it powerful, but in a really subtle way. It was one of those wines that I think for an instant I did a reflex back to Cabernet, but then immediately was off-put because of the elegance in the finish, and it wasn't overpowering. How do you extract such an incredible position of juice? Like, what style are you producing wine in or under?
The most important thing is to try to find the right fruit to work with.
Okay.
I have minimum winemaking input. Actually, I am very hands-on on the expression of the fruit. So the whole work is to find the right fruit, and don't do with the fruit something it's not meant to. So express the fruit. And what you mentioned is softness, and Merlot in France, come from France, is known to be more feminine compared to Cabernet in the way you explained it. It's a finish. The tannins are much softer and less aggressive. But as a concentration, a very good Merlot can be as concentrated as the Cabernet. The expression is good. The fruit is going to be different. The tannins intensity, sharpness is going to be different. But Merlot and Cab can be very similar in terms of concentration. You may know that Chateau Petrus, which is one of the most expensive wine in the world, is 97% Merlot. It's sold for $1,000 a bottle. But it's very concentrated. So I think in the past some people in the valley made weak Merlot instead of soft Merlot. And when you source the fruit correctly, it should be very concentrated wine. And for us, the Merlot is the less expensive red we make. But I have a lot of pride to make it right, because lots of people may discover us through the Merlot. And if they are understanding the style of the wine we make through the Merlot, it would be awesome. So I take a lot of attention to make this wine.
Now, Stag's Leap, to me, I've not been this far back in the valley, and I'm not talking about from Napa to Calistoga, but perhaps the mountainside, and you're situated on the very brink of the upswing of the mountains here. How does this terroir speak differently than others?
The location in the valley is important first. I would say the valley is 30 miles long, even maybe a bit more if you start in Cookesville or Carneros to North Calistoga. and we are barely like 7 miles north to Napa. So it's really south of the valley. That defines influence from the bay, the influence from the fog, and temperature at night and temperature during the day. After that, Stag's Leap AVA, interesting thing was the first AVA created in Napa Valley in 1981. And we think that the palisade, what we call the palisade, are the cliff we have behind the winery. They're quite high, like they are like 206 200 meters, 600 feet high, are very warm during the day. And you can see the vulture taking advantage of this warm air being drawn from the southern part of the valley, which is cooler to us. So we think that there is something special about this AVA due to the movement of air, thanks to the palisade. And also the soil is really influenced by this palisade. That is part of the vineyard is made of broken rock from this palisade, which is volcanic, very rich in iron, which is very good for quality and for plants metabolism. And all of that makes that this area of the valley is very special.
Now, you've had quite the journey as a winemaker. You've been halfway across the world, if not all the way around the world, and then some. I'd love to tap into what some of your greatest lessons have been, either in the area of learning about wine or about learning about winemaking. What are those?
So you touch a very funny point, because from France, the antipode of France is New Zealand. So from France, you can't go further than New Zealand. So I went there. So I couldn't go further than that. So New Zealand, Chile, Spain, Washington State. What I try to learn, what I learned through the trip is be true to the fruit you work with. Don't try to make something that reflects yourself. Try to make something that reflects the fruit you work with. And through this journey, I have really connected with people with the same philosophy, that is wine driven by expressing the fruit without artifact, simple winemaking, and be true to the fruit you work with. So very often people ask me, how do you adapt? I adapt because I was taught the way to express the fruit. So sometimes it may be bad to some people, but sometimes I feel people use the fruit to serve themselves instead of them serving the fruit.
Ah, beautiful and well stated. When nobody's looking, what are you sipping on at home?
It depends. It depends. You heard earlier that you have difficulties to say what I prefer the best.
Yes.
It depends on the day, what I have, the food I have, and I like to drink, of course, wine I don't make myself and discover everything. So I try to even surprise myself when I pick a wine I am going to drink with friends or by myself sometimes, and so it can be very eclectic, and I make big wine, so I like also wine I don't make, like Pinot Noir. I love Pinot Noir, and very adventurous, you can imagine. Very adventurous. Being adventurous with wine is great. If you don't like the wine, it's not a big deal, unless you have paid a lot for it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The last question I have for you is, are there any grapes that you've not explored yet that you wish to?
That's a good question. The way to reply is, for whites, for instance, I make Chardonnay. I make Chardonnay in different countries, and it's a king of the white, like Cabernet is a king of the reds. And I was really in love with Riesling, and I made Riesling in dry Riesling in Washington State, and I love Viognier. I make Viognier here.
It's beautiful, by the way.
I love that. And the thing is, that's funny. I say very often there is two categories of winemakers: the people who have made Pinot Noir and the people who haven't. I haven't made Pinot Noir in my life, so I would love to make Pinot Noir. And I haven't, a category of grapes I haven't worked with at all is Italian varieties. So I don't know if I would like it, but to put my hand on it would be interesting, because I see grapes like a matière. There's something like dirt, you can work on it. So I
Absolutely.
haven't worked ever with Italian varieties. So it would be something interesting to do.
Excellent. Thank you so
My
much for
pleasure.
joining us.
My pleasure.
I want to encourage each and every one of you to get out to Stag's Leap. They have a beautiful manor house. They have private tours that are unique and private. That means nobody else but you and your group unto itself. And it's an extraordinary destination. So please check out Stag's Leap Winery. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Kelly Mitchell. I'm here today with Stag's Leap winemaker Christophe Paubert. He's Paubert. Paubert.
Do it again.
I'm gonna do it again. You can be my, you could be my director anytime you want to come out with me.
No,
and
I don't direct.
Paubert.
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 No, Paubert.
Paubert.
We need
More wine, please.
Christophe, we need
Do
a
you
pool.
have any glasses? You probably need some wine, don't you?
If it takes more time, we're good. I think we're good.